Hello?
Hello, is that Francis Rossi?
Let me just... Yeah, it is. I'm confused. You're early, are you not? This is unlike you people. People. Good morning, who's this?
This is Tim from Nova Radio North East in Newcastle, Francis. How are you? How are you today?
Not bad at all. Interesting accent.
Yeah, I'm a Yorkshire man, but living in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's a real mixture of it. I love accents. You see, I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Working with Hannah Ricardo, I did the album with, and she's got that oi.
So, Francis, thanks for letting me interview you today, mate.
Problem at all.
Can I ask you a few questions about?
Certainly, sir. Two-way street. Remember, I get something to this as well as you.
That's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. Right. Back in the 80s, you was asked to open Live Aid. How was that for you?
It was quite unique in as much as I don't think anybody realised it was going to be as big as it was, and the whole thing snowballed, and not many people wanted to do it. But walking on and seeing that many media, for one, and then there was this feeling from the audience that was quite unique and I've never really felt again, that everyone was very pleased with themselves, that they were doing something for a good cause, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it was unique.
Well, that's good. So so back, you've also had over 60 chart albums and singles. Now, which is the favourite one of your status quo albums you produced? Which is your favourite?
Probably On the Level, I think, because it was a balanced one to me. It was. But it's very difficult, I find, without our world today. People will say they've got their favourite movie. There's thousands and thousands of movies. To say you've got one favourite, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, probably On the Level, or one of the much later ones like Heavy Traffic or something.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, my favourite, what you guys did was In the Army. Now, I love the video and the single. Absolutely.
In the Army was, I think, a particularly good song, and was either going to be one of those hugies or a complete nothing, and we were really lucky that it was huge.
Yeah. So tell me, what are you up to now then, Francis?
I have an album, a book, and a tour, a talking tour to do called Talk Too Much, an album called We Talk Too Much with Hannah Ricard, which is sort of leans towards country or country pop, and a book called I Talk Too Much. It's a sort of three-pronged event, and things just sort of came about over the last couple of 3 years that I was doing an album with Hannah, and we had the song called Talk Too Much, that it sounded good for an album. We could talk too much, then the book obviously was good to talk too much, and because I talk too friggin' much, people said, well, why don't you go out on tour and talk too much? And we're about to try that at the end of, I think the 19th or 20th of March is the first show.
Yeah, 14th of March. I think you're going to be at Whitley Bay on the 20th of March at the Playhouse.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. So what in the show, is it just music or?
No, there's very little music, if any at all. I don't want it to be. I will have a guitar to demonstrate certain things, I think. But if I start doing songs, then it becomes a different animal. And I want people. There's a first half will be just me talking with Mick Wall, and he'll prompt me perhaps. And the second half is a Q&A, questions from the audience. So. It should be very, very interesting, but I would say that because I'm the one talking. So I just hope people enjoy it. They seem to be great response to the idea, and people are responding well to the whole idea. As I said, that three-pronged, the talk tour, the book, and the album. So we will see what we will see. Now you're making me nervous. Don't ask me something else.
Right. Okay, then I'm going to ask you now. When you was a kid. And you listened. You went to the record shop. What was the first single you ever bought or album?
It was either Kathy's Clown or a thing called Walk Don't Run. I think it might have been that. But that's one of those strange questions. Let me think when Kathy's Clown was. I know I bought Kathy's Clown, but probably Walk Don't Run, yeah.
Walk Don't Run, yeah, magic. Now going back it's 4 years now. You lost your best buddy, Rick Parfit. Now,
yeah.
And that must have been tragic for you, and I know how you feel. Now, you know when you go on stage with the new guys, with Quo, and if you don't mind me asking you this, now when you're on stage and you're performing, do you still feel Rick is still there with you?
Being honest, no, really. To hang on to that would be wrong, and we knew Rick was going, and he kind of retired, as it were, sometime before he actually died, maybe 6 or 8 months before he died. And he had failing health. He'd had various heart attacks and was getting as they say, a mere shadow of his former self. So, apart from the shock of that morning, as with everything else, you kind of get up and we had commitments, we had to finish stuff. And then people started to say that I should stop, or the band should stop, and we wouldn't be as good without Rick and so on, which may be true. But it made me dig in and think, well, I'm going to try to be, so I thank them for doing that. But there are times when we turn up in certain venues or certain things happen and you go, do you remember when Rick did this here or Rick did that there? And those kind of things happen a lot. But and some of it is remembered with that was great, and some things are remembered as with anything. You say, yeah, he was being a bit of a pain that night, but that could be any of us. It's just the way things are.
That's it. Yeah.
Initially, it was very tricky, and we've settled into it now.
Yeah. So back, when you did the Rock Till You Drop tour.
Yeah.
How did you find that one? Because I was actually at the tour with another radio station what I used to work with back in Sheffield. Now I remember you flying all over the place and everything, and I was actually talking to a guy who I work with who lives up in Newcastle where I am, called Bob, and he's asked me to say hi to you. I think you know him, Bob, from Event Cover production.
Oh yeah.
He says to say hi to you, so I've done that. So
good.
So so how was that for you? Because I know that was a big tour and a big thing for you to do.
It was at a time, I suppose, where Rick and I weren't really. We were leaving too many things to the manager at the time, rather than come up with ideas ourselves. And whilst on the face of it was quite a good promo thing, it cost a fortune to do it, and gave me a ridiculously sore throat, and was kind of enjoyable, but at the same time, you think, well, what for? And rock and roll, or the music industry, has got very much that way in the last few years. It's all about profile, how you do it, and a marketing angle. Subsequent to that, I think we did what they call a pub tour, which was almost suicidal. Our agent hated the idea, but I blame myself and Rick for that, of coming up with their own ideas.
But you enjoyed it at the end of the day, and
well, it was quite an eventful thing to do, jumping from airplane to this plane to that thing and back to there, do 20 minutes or an hour or whatever it was, and then I believe I got to London to do Wembley, and the voice was really gone. So it was a sense of, once you'd done it, it was a sense of achievement, but at the same time, a kind of, what for? We had 4 sets of equipment going around the country, and we had to rehearse in a situation with the 4 things all set up. A very strange event, but we did it.
Right, Francis, thank you for letting me interview, mate. I know you've got a busy day ahead of you. We all
I certainly have, but that's fine, and thank you for having me on.
And would you like to introduce your song for me? I talk too much and we'll play it.
Oh, I certainly would. This is Francis Rossi and Hannah Rickard, a song he's very pleased with because he does talk too much, and it's called Talk Too Much.
And enjoy yourself at Whitley Bay, mate, and hope the snow doesn't cause any much interruptions for you.
Thank you.
Great, mate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.